Hi everyone. So unfortunately, at my core, I am a hater. For instance, I know I'm one of like the 5 people left in the world who's never seen Squid Games. I don't know, I just can't be bothered to watch it. And I only just got around to watching The Office last year because for some reason, I was convinced I'd hate it. Do I have a superiority complex? No. Am I a harsh critic for no reason and have a fear of being disappointed? Yes. And I thought the same about Harry Potter.
You're a wizard, Harry.
And after so much convincing on my boyfriend's part and a year of procrastinating on watching the movies on my part, I actually grew to love the series. Who could have figured? And after finishing the last movie a couple days ago, I now had a Harry Potter-sized void where the movies had previously filled. So I decided to read the books. I really thought about just buying the whole book set online, but seeing the $60 price tag did bring me back to my senses real quick, so it was off to the library. Color me surprised when I find out they are children's books, so obviously I went down a Reddit rabbit hole seeing if it was worth reading the series as an adult. After doing my research, I realized that a lot of other people didn't know if it would be silly of them to read the books as an adult for the first time, having never read them as a kid. So join me in this series where I'm going to be putting that to the test. I'll be reading the whole Harry Potter series, and at the end, tell you if it was actually worth it. And if you're in the same position as me, read alongside with me. Unfortunately, my library did not have the first book. All were probably checked out by 10-year-olds, and that's not even a joke. So I just grabbed the second one, and I'll be reading the first one on my iPad, if you haven't figured already. I am a casual reader at best. I try to read, but I am easily bored, so I DNF a lot of books, which kind of discouraged me from reading more. First impressions, I was really pleasantly surprised on how well this book was written. I mentioned I'm a casual reader to just give you guys a perspective of my reading level. If you've seen me on TikTok, you might have seen that I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe book when it was going really viral on Book Talk, and I would say that book is written on the same level as Sorcerer's Stone, but I'll get more into that at the end of the video. As I'm reading, I am keeping a mental note of everything that I noticed that is different from the movie. I don't know why I'm so caught up on why the Dursleys are blonde in the book, but brunette in the movies. I mean, that's probably the most unimportant difference to keep a mental note of. So, I mentioned that I'm a hater. But I do have some reason for it, because it's not from a lack of trying, okay? I tried reading the series when I was younger, and I stopped maybe not even halfway throughout the first book, and I just never picked it back up. I also started watching the first movie so many times, and I would just never finish it. I do find the first movies a little boring. Please don't burn me at the stake. But since having watched the whole series, I think I would appreciate the first movie much more now on a rewatch. If you're a Harry Potter fan, let me know which year is your favorite, whether book or movie. I'm curious if anyone's favorite is actually the first or second years. Something else I do wonder is how differently I would have imagined everything to look like, because I'm imagining everything from the movies, obviously. If you read the books first, how similar was the movie's interpretation from yours? I do feel like Harry Potter is one of those times where they did do the books justice, at least from what I hear, and obviously just knowing how big the franchise is. Fantasy is also totally new to me. I never consumed that genre. That's another reason why I wasn't particularly interested in ever watching or reading Harry Potter. Maybe now it's something I can get into. I don't know, don't hold me to that. To hold myself accountable to finish this book, I set up a daily reading goal for myself of 30 minutes. Now, did I do the full 30 minutes every day? No. But I did try to read a little every day, so I was getting through about 1 to 2 chapters every day. I managed to read the entire book in a little over 2 weeks. So let's talk about it. I've come up with a rating system to review each book at the end of the videos, and you can be the judge for yourself. To answer how difficult it was to read, 1 out of 5, it's not a difficult read. This book is intended for ages 9 and up, and like I briefly mentioned earlier, I've literally read books meant for adults that were written with a similar level of difficulty as this one, if not easier. Did it feel like I was reading a children's book? Despite its reading difficulty, it did not feel like I was reading a children's book. Obviously, again, it's not a complex read, but it's not overly simple or childlike either. It's easily digestible while still being great writing with a good plot. Is it worth reading? If you've been thinking about starting the series, I think it's definitely worth picking up. So I am going to be reading the second book. I'm really excited to continue reading and continue on this little Harry Potter journey. Please let me know your thoughts on the series in the comments, and if you plan on reading along with me. We could have our own little Harry Potter book club. So to stay updated, please consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Unfortunately, my library did not have the first book, Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone if you're British, or philosophers, philosophers. or Philosopher's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone.